dangerous, and he was totally out of control.
Sheriff Grady Judd said his deputies needed to bust out all the stops to lock up 38-year-old Josue Castroneda Castro after the Mexican national was driving drunk, got stuck in the path of an oncoming CSX train, and then tried to fight the conductor.
He's already tried to fight the engineers on the train. He fought with the deputy.
Castroneda Castro then took off into these nearby woods, leading deputies on a half-a-mile chase before he was arrested.
When backup arrived, the drone arrived, the helicopter arrived, the canine arrived, you can go to jail tired or you can just go to jail, but you're going to jail.
This man is an illegal immigrant with 4 previous DUI convictions. Sheriff Judd says he's the poster child for why Polk County is one of ICE's biggest allies. Castroneda Castro is now being held on a slew of felony charges, including assaulting law enforcement and canines and interfering with a train.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and most importantly, please make sure that you are following me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. With the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today we have to head on over to Los Angeles, where I am. Why is that? Because F around and find out is in full effect. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what I voted for. I love seeing consequences when people engage in ignorant actions. And there is a tow truck driver here in LA who thought it was a hilarious idea to tow the vehicle away of ICE agents who are engaging in an arrest of an illegal immigrant social media personality who really got a lot of her fame from being online, antagonizing ICE agents and doxing them and just talking all type of crazy while having the audacity to be an illegal immigrant on top of that. Many of you remember this clip that I'm going to play here. Let me play it first because this is the clip of the illegal immigrant female who was live at the time as well, I believe on TikTok, when ICE found her and arrested her. Let's check this out very quickly. First off, I don't know why these folks think resisting arrest is going to help them. It's not. You're just making things worse for you, man. They got you. You know they got you. Stop playing games like you don't know who they are and why they're coming after you. You know, once you got you, caught red-handed, you're under arrest. You're better off just going peacefully, okay, than getting dragged out of a car and now you're like slammed on your face, just completely humiliated publicly, right? But let's rewind back a little bit because we don't need to discuss her. She's whatever. This part right here is what's important. You see here when this ICE agent, let me mute this, goes on the run. Look at this. You're gonna see he says, "Hey," and then he takes off. That's because the vehicle is getting towed. The ICE vehicle is getting towed. But ladies and gentlemen, justice has been served because the douchebag that thought it was hilarious to tow this ICE vehicle has been arrested. And if I'm not mistaken, he is looking at 10 years in prison, fed time. Now, before we get into the actual article breaking that down, what I want to do next is for us to take a moment to actually watch the video of his perp walk because he was so mad. Oh, he was pissed off. But I don't know what you were mad about because the chickens just came home to roost. You effed around and found out. Let's check this video out next.
Come on, man. Why are you playing games?
What? Let me make it full screen so you guys can see it better. He had a lot of nerve. He said, "Come on, man. Why are you playing games? Why were you playing games? Why were you playing games And what made you think that it was a good idea to tow an ICE vehicle in the middle of an arrest? Why were you playing games? Let me make it full screen so you can see it better. This is completely ridiculous. It is amazing how these folks believe that they shouldn't have to suffer any consequences for their ignorant actions. This is the entitlement that DNC lunacy produces. Once again, let me replay it again, full screen.
Come on, man. Why you playing games?
That, I mean, the audacity of sitting there saying, come on, man, why are you playing games? No, you're playing games. And he's not the only one. This has kind of been a little bit of a thing. It hasn't been a huge issue, but it is a thing out here, at least on a handful of occasions. I've seen other videos where you have tow truck drivers that are waiting around lurking. They get the word of an ICE raid that's going down, and then they'll pull up to where the ICE raid is happening. And because most times, really every time when law enforcement is engaged in some sort of an operation, the police show up, a firefighter show up, they never park perfectly, right? They're double parked, the cars or vehicle is diagonal in the middle of the street. These law enforcement vehicles, because they're, obviously it's an emergency and they're trying to get to wherever they're trying to get to help someone who's in distress, make an arrest, to stop a bad guy. They don't have time to perfectly parallel park their car, and make sure that there's change in the meter before they carry on with whatever operation or whatever arrest or situation that they're handling, right? They typically park however they park, they get out of the car and they do what they have to do. If you're not towing police vehicles, if you're not towing firefighter trucks, if you're not towing ambulances when they're in the middle of their operations, why are you towing ICE vehicles? You see, that's where you played yourself, because it shows that it's discriminatory and you're engaging in obstruction of justice because you're stupid. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Stop letting Democrats pump your head up with nonsense, thinking that you can carry on without consequences following behind it. Because Trump is in office now, and there will be consequences. And I want to get into what the consequences are here. Give me a moment to pull this video down, and I want to get into an article that quickly breaks down his situation. Okay, so check this out here. Tow truck driver slapped with federal charge after hauling away ICE vehicle. He can laugh behind bars. A tow truck driver in Los Angeles is facing a federal charge of towing an immigration and customs enforcement vehicle on August 15th, and he could be behind bars for a decade if found guilty. Bobby Nunez was allegedly laughing and filming as he towed a vehicle belonging to ICE agents. So once again, come on, man, why you playing games? No, it was fun and games when you were laughing while towing the vehicle. So don't cry now. Isn't it amazing how everybody loves to cry and shed tears and want to beg for mercy and say, please stop playing games or don't deport me? Once they've been caught, you shouldn't have been playing games to begin with. But I digress. The agents were in the middle of an operation to arrest an illegal immigrant and had their emergency lights flashing as they boxed in the target's vehicle with their own to prevent her escape. And I quote, apparently, he thought it would be funny to interfere with our immigration enforcement operations, but now he can laugh behind bars while he faces justice. Nunez is looking at up to 10 years in federal prison if convicted. Acting United States Attorney Bill Asaley posted to X on Tuesday. And as we round this article out and bring it to a close, it reads, ICE agents are currently facing a 1,000% uptick in assault since this time last year, the Department of Homeland Security said in August. And obviously, this is all DNC fueled. But you got to think to yourself, once again, just concerning what's DNC fueled as it pertains to nonsense. Who are you actually protecting, right? Is this about the American people? Or is this just about some sort of a foolish pride, right, that you have, thinking that you're doing right by, quote, your people as far as, Hispanics go? Because obviously this individual is Latino. The woman that was being arrested was Latino. But when you look at the ICE agents, a lot of them in California, here in Los Angeles, honestly, I would say the majority of them are Latino as well. And, you know, they face a lot of criticism. Hispanic ICE agents, they're told by their quote own people that they're sellouts and they're doing wrong by their people. But when you come to situations like this, look at this here. Let me zoom in just a little bit. This guy right here, who we're going to get into as we bring this video to a close, is clearly Hispanic. And he was drunk driving and killed a woman. And he killed a woman who just happened to be Hispanic. But he's not the sellout. This guy right here, he's not a sellout. But the guys that are removing people like him from off the streets who should have been deported a long time ago, somehow they're the sellouts, not this guy here. I want to get into his story next as we bring this video to a close. So the X post from Bill Mulligan reads, new. DHS confirms to Fox News that a suspected DUI driver who veered his Maserati into oncoming traffic and crashed head-on into a car in Nashville 2 weeks ago, killing a woman, is a Honduran illegal alien who, get this, had his temporary protection status revoked a decade ago. His TPS status was revoked over 10 years ago. Why was he still here? The T in TPS stands for temporary, not permanent. He should have been gone. But when you say that, somehow you're now a bigot, you're xenophobic, you want to rip families apart and all this other nonsense. No. TPS, the T stands for temporary. Your TPS status was revoked. It's time for you to go home. And if you're not going to go home on your own, then masked men are going to take you home for you. Okay? So that should have happened already. But because it didn't, now a woman lost her life. And that is very tragic. DHS tells Fox that Julio Cesar Herrera Gonzalez, a Honduran national, was granted TPS in 2008, and it was later revoked in 2015. He also has a vandalism conviction. So now he's here committing crime. His TPS was revoked and he's committing crime while here. That's great, but still allowed to roam the streets. As a result of the crash, he has now been charged with vehicular homicide, vehicular assault, DUI, and driving without a license. And he's driving without a license. He's driving dirty. Okay. ICE has placed a detainer on him with local authorities, and according to online jail records, he is being held for ICE and is not eligible for release, which is good, but unfortunately too little, too late. Too little, too late. Let's get into a video clip, or I should say a news clip, concerning this guy's situation and the life that he took, and then we're going to go ahead and shut this video down.
An illegal immigrant is accused of killing a woman and injuring her fiance during a drunk driving crash here in Nashville. Tonight, we are hearing from members of the victim's family as this case adds more fuel to the fire around the immigration debate. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar now live at Vanderbilt Medical Center with an update on one of the victim's conditions.
Scott, tonight here at Vanderbilt Medical Center, the victim is fighting for his life. His fiancée did not survive the crash. Family members tell me drunk driving is never acceptable, but the suspect's immigration status adds to this tragedy.
Raquel Lorena Sarabia Baraja's family says her smile would light up any room. Now her brother, David Sarabia, tells me the pain of her loss is beyond words.
Very difficult, very painful.
Sarabia tells me Lorena had just moved with her fiancé, Marco Antonio Baez del Angel, to Nashville when Metro Police say driver Julio Cesar Herrera Gonzalez crashed into them, killing Lorena and sending Marco to a nearby hospital.
Marco, he's really fighting, like really bad.
Officers say the crash happened at the intersection of Bell Road and Harris Lane 3 Sundays ago around 3 in the morning.
Angry, I'm upset.
Department of Homeland Security officials reveal Gonzalez is an undocumented immigrant from Honduras. The agency says his temporary protected status was revoked in 2015, and he has a previous vandalism conviction.
He should be punished, but because he took a bad decision, he was irresponsible, he didn't have the documents that he needed to be here legally.
Rick Williams is a GOP strategist.
A prime example of why President Trump has sent ICE into major cities.
What do you say to critics
who say anybody can commit this type of crime regardless of their immigration status.
The point is that would have never happened had that illegal person not been here.
And that's the point. He should have never been here to begin with. Shouldn't have been here to begin with. TPS was revoked. He should have been deported immediately thereafter. Instead, he was here committing crime and now eventually taking a life. And look at the people that were involved. One Hispanic female lost her life, the other one fighting for his life. Meanwhile, the guy that took the life, this man here, he's not a sellout. No, he should have just been allowed to, and people like him should be allowed to roam free, right? Without any consequences, even though your TPS was revoked, until you take somebody's life, despite the fact that you're here committing crime. He's not the sellout for hurting and taking the life of his own people. Did you hear that strong accent on the brother of the man who was in the hospital fighting for his life? That accent was strong. These are his own people whose life that he took. But he's not the sellout. The Hispanic ICE agent is the sellout, not this guy here. You want to talk about backwards and twisted logic? There you have it. There you have it. But, going back to, this guy here, who apparently he's not a sellout either. This guy right here. Let's listen to that one more time in closing.
Come on, man. Why are you playing games?
Come on, man. Why are you playing games? Apparently he's a real one too. Apparently he's not a sellout either, right? Only the guys that are actually trying to take the bad guys and the worst of the worst off the street, they're the sellouts. They're the ones that are wrong. I don't get the logic. I truly don't. And it's completely ridiculous. But fortunately, at least in this situation here, justice is coming around. So with all that being said, that does it for today's news. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video on your social media platforms. And do not forget to follow me on Telegram at TD Media Group. The link to my Telegrams in the description box below and pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time. Until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.